I'm with my top guy, Harrison. He bid out 15 retail roofers on this commercial project. I'm gonna give you 5 steps how you can beat any retail roofer. What's step 1?
Step 1 is to be invited.
I say all's fair in love and war and getting your foot in the door.
So
what'd you do here?
Here, we got invited from the same engineering company as we were working with on another high-rise down the road.
Roof consultants, engineers, how do you win favor with them?
By delivering what you say you're going to deliver. Being on time. When they say they want an estimate a certain way, don't veer from it. Bid it exactly that way.
And if you have to eat shit on one project and do a little crappy work, it doesn't matter, because you're building the relationship. And whether it's a property manager, a roof consultant, you know, it's very helpful to have a third party like that. I call it a strategic response network.
Yep.
Headed up to the roofs. I'm gonna tell you, property managers will absolutely run you ragged. What do they do to you, Harrison?
Run you around with small repairs. They'll have you bid out a bunch of projects if they're doing like a study, like a, what's it called when they do a study on a property and they're trying to figure out what all the repairs are gonna cost in the future. So you might be bidding on a job that's got a new roof for just a reserve study. No one's ever getting the job.
It's bullshit.
It's just for their reserve
What's
study.
better than a property manager?
An engineering company.
Why a roof consultant or engineer should you pursue?
So a roof consultant or an engineer only gets involved if it's typically going to be like a full replacement or a large project. You know, they're not going to hire an engineering company for a $100,000 roof. They're going to hire an engineering company for $1 million+ project.
If you start hiring engineers to certify your own roofs, that's a good place to start the relationship.
100%. We knocked on somebody's door in Sarasota. It's led to like 6 or 7 bids, and we walked right in their office.
Oh, no. We're up here on the project. First step's getting your foot in the door. Then you got to make a good first impression. That's second step. What'd you do here at the board meeting?
Listen to what the property's wants were. Listen to what the engineers want when it came to a roofing system. You know, the property was more, how do we keep it clean? How do we keep the cost down? The engineer was more detailed. What kind of wall flashing we're going to use? What kind of AC stands are we putting back here? Listening to all those key details and making a plan. I know our estimate is way more detailed than any other roofers out there, and that's what the engineers like.
Dude, you can study up on these roof assemblies and these manufacturer paperwork. How did you study up on it?
We kind of got thrown into it from Toscana. We had to learn it like now. If we wanted to submit that bid,
you want $1 million contract, you will read this paperwork.
Right, and it was 120 fucking pages of basically bullshit. But also, there was a lot of stuff in there like what assembly number you need to have for Elevate. Like this is an Elevate system. There's like 40 different assemblies for Elevate and ways you can do this roof, but they want one in specific.
Another way you made a good first impression is when you listened, how did you deliver what you heard? Did he put together a real report? What did your report look like? How was it different?
Yeah, so our estimate, you know, a lot of roofers will just send in their line item estimate. Our estimate.
See any of the other quotes, the 15 bidders?
Yeah, and some of them were decent. Some of them had some references in there and stuff like that, but none of them pasted like the direct assembly we get from Elevate to show like this is what you're getting, what you're buying from us. You're getting exactly what the engineer wanted. So in our, yes, of course we have our line item quote, we have our references, but we also have all the details in specific, like we're using 040 aluminum wall flashing. The engineer wanted 040 aluminum wall flashing. Said it like 15 fucking times during the bid walkthrough here. So in our bid, we have a special section for 040 aluminum wall flashing with a riglet and stuff.
Those detail matters. The devils are in the details. As we go over here, lightweight concrete was a big detail here. It's very messy, and I'm going to tell you step 3 over here. This is always a complex sell, these big jobs, right?
Yep.
So you have to find out who your gatekeeper and your decision makers are. That's step 3.
Right.
I call it finding out their wants and needs. How did you do that here?
Well, here we got invited to the property by the engineering company, right? Then we got to meet Carla, who was the general manager, who would be like the gatekeeper to Ed, who was the board president, who's going to have the most influence over the board and where their votes go. Out of the 100 units that are here, there's 5 people that make the decision for who to pick for a roofer. And Ed is the biggest influencer because he's obviously the president of the whole board.
Everybody's got their own little specific needs. Any specific things that you did to help move the deal along?
Ed was all about money.
Yeah.
Carla was all about clean.
There you go.
Like we
Simple.
identified that right away.
And then just go add certainty in those areas.
100%. Ed could have given a shit less if we used a crane or if we used a lift. But we were the only company that was going to use a lift, and we sold Carla, and who was the general manager, on the lift because we're going to keep the whole property clean. My guys are
Let's go
not.
check out this lift, because I would say that step 4 in winning one of these bids is delivering on the wants and needs. Because you're talking about it right now. Identifying wants and needs, now deliver certain. It's the only objection in sale. So this lift we'd used on a previous project, and it saved us money.
Saved us money. Doesn't necessarily save you time, but it definitely saves you money and keeps roofers out of the building, which then saves money because you're gonna have to clean up after them. Their boots are gonna be dirty at the end of the day. This is roofing; it's not clean.
They don't want them going up and down the service elevator.
And you have, exactly, in the service elevator, then walking up those stairs like we just did. Trash, whatever.
So this saved them money, made the job more clean, and it was a solution that no one else delivered.
No one else delivered, and we're ready to innovate at RRCA. Right, we're ready to think outside the box. Where you got specific
big companies here that won 176 million, recently sold to private equity, huge
But
company. We can't really compete with them on sometimes when it comes to, but their pricing compared to ours is what?
We're better because we're willing to innovate and do stuff that's maybe a little bit harder to appease the consumer, the property. To win these jobs, we sometimes have to do stuff like this, where obviously with a crane, it'd make this job faster and more efficient for us, but not for them. But all those big guys are used to just winning these jobs because no one else is. Half those people, half the 15
When
didn't even
roofers
bid.
compete, you win, customers.
Yeah.
But I think the main thing is people are afraid for this last step. You did something a lot of people think is something you should never do in a bid process when you're going against 15 bidders. What'd you do to finally get this deal?
I asked Carla. I said, "Hey, tell me where I need to be. I will do my very best to get there."
She gave you some clear indicators that you were too
She
high.
went and talked to the board and asked if it was okay to tell me a number, and they told me a number, and I said, "I'll get back to you," and I called her back after we made sure it was going to work for us.
See, and the thing is,
you don't ask, you don't get,
right? And if money's a big deal and you're afraid to talk about money, you're not going to follow up with someone because you're afraid to hear no. Someone may be scared of that number. They may not want to know how cheap you want to do it, but we have the right to walk away from it. I think the last beautiful little nail in the coffin was taking them to the job site. You did this multiple times. Tell them about it.
Yeah, if you have the opportunity to get your clients, I don't care if it's not a residential deal. If you're out there selling a residential roof, get them out of the house, get them walking around their yard, pointing at their tile, seeing tile in the yard, whatever it is. Especially if you're doing our commercial project, like the other high rise we won. I didn't have another high rise to show them, but I took the board president in my truck and drove him to South Naples and showed him a large HOA community we were doing in metal roofs, and showed them what we can do to scale. And we've done $1 million projects before. Get them comfortable, and then again, you get the drive time, you get the chit chat back and forth, because this is all an emotional thing. It's sales. Everyone's emotional.
Look, people buy when the emotion is greater than the resistance. So let's do a quick review on these 5 steps to win when there's 15 bidders. Number 1, you got to get your foot in the door. I say build a strategic partner network. We've identified roof consultants and engineers as a good source. Number 2, make a good first impression by listening. That's the most important thing in sales, and have a really good report. Number 3, identify the decision makers and gatekeepers' wants and needs, money and cleanliness, and boom, deliver on those wants and needs. Don't be afraid to ask for price. Step 5, take them to the project and close the deal. Harrison's killing it, guys. And if you want to be a part of what we're doing this down here, we're teaching people how to sell commercial. You didn't always used to do commercial projects like this.
No, man, not until recently, really.
Really? For real? And what's the goal for 2025?
2025, me and my partner want to do 10 million.
10 million, dude. I got the same goal. I want to do 10 million in 10 weeks.
Yeah.
You need more leads in your pipeline,
We
brother.
do.
Look, guys, if you're watching this right now, this could be you. You could be running with us. We could be doing commercial deals together. Just come down here. Florida's the major leagues. This is a retail project. It's not insurance. It's
Straight cash.
straight cash,
Yeah.
baby. And so, look, if you want to beat out 15 bidders, you can follow these 5 steps and comment below what you think about this. Appreciate the hard work, Harrison. Keep them coming, brother.
Will do.
We'll keep building them. Keep building them right.
Do it.
Let's go. Quick behind the scenes story. Some of our old salespeople that used to work for us
Used to work.
Competing against us.
He used to work for me back when I was sales manager of the Naples.
Hey, but when roofers compete, you win. I mean,
Yeah.
there's always another side of the fence. Like someone offers them more money, but they can't always deliver when it comes to commercial, can they?
They can't always do projects like this. They don't always have the reference book that you have.
Okay. But hey,
Helps
look,
me
there's a
sell
lot of
these
good roofers out there.
Yeah.
Shout out to everyone out there after the blue collar American dream. Doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
What did
but
it do when you see teammates here competing against you on the job? What did it do to you?
I'm a competitive person, man. It fired me up. It made me want this job more than any other project I was currently working on. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. And so,
Not spiteful. It's
Yeah.
just the competitiveness in me. I'm like, you know what? They
So
used to work for me,
it
and
must
they left
it
for
must feel
greener
good.
grass,
It
and
must feel good.
I'm gonna win this job.
Yeah. Well, this one's nice, smooth and smooth, and every once in a while, give them a little smack around.
Yeah.
Is what it's all about.